Hello again. Hope you're all remaining sane in these trying times. No one said that this adventure would be easy. We're trying to find the chosen one, of course. I have some interesting news, though, this week to possibly get your minds off the craziness for a bit. As I was continuing to work through the code in these files, I stumbled upon something I didn't expect. Information from a place I had not been to here in the Old Kingdom. I traced the signal to what seemed like a wall, only to find it was actually a doorway to a secret room. I was able to hack into the security protocols and force the room to open. Inside was a secret room with official seals of a group called the Shadow Brigade. This is the first time this group has come up, and with such a name, my eyes obviously lit up. I want to know more, and I think we all need to know a little bit more about what this Shadow Brigade did. It seems like there are thousands of files, some from secret science labs, others from around the world, some from unknown places, that all exist inside the database in this room. But as I sifted through what was there, it was apparent that the files had not only been put behind massive security, but they had also been corrupted in a way I've never seen. Almost like it was from an otherworldly source. This room seems to be a potential key in our journey, perhaps with much needed info on what the shadows are and how we can fight them. Perhaps it even has the location of the green ball itself. I do not know, but what I do know is that I need to work on trying to recover some of this lost data and piece anything together with my other resource. And some of the most promising files seem to be audio files. Most of the names are hidden, but I have recovered one already. Dr. Constance Landry. All I know is that Constance is called the chief scientist for something called Project Peter Pan. Perhaps you can discern what this project name means, but I hope to continue to recover these seemingly important files very soon. Until then, we must applaud ourselves for making it past the halfway point of our season. There's still so much to be decided. Be patient, trust the process, and remember,
the challenges are only going to increase for all of us.
The world's essence slows, shadows spread from the pyramids to the oceans to the coasts. But behold the test, a smoking gun, a quest passed down for generations. A prophesized hero, the champion. In order to save everyone, thou must drink from the cup. 12 of us on this mission. What's next? 17 weeks to be the best. Injuries and buys, thou should have guessed. The waiver wire request was denied, but maybe a trade will provide an edge and a chance to be a legend. Fight for humanity, reach the goal. It's a quest for the green ball. Green ball. It's a quest for the green ball. Green ball. Green ball. It's a quest for the green ball. Green ball. Let's do this. Let's do this. It's a quest for the green ball. Green ball.
Hello, my name is Dr. Constance Landry. This is day 0001 of Project Peter Pan, and I am the chief scientist for this top secret research project. I've been debriefed by the President of the United States, General Thomas Mulberry II of the United States Army, and the spy agency known as the Shadow Brigade, which is working with all of the countries in the United Nations to find out what has been happening with the weather changes and extreme events of the past few months. Not sure why they named the project Peter Pan. Maybe they're scared of their own shadows because the way the general sounded, he wanted to go to DEF CON 2. While many of my questions were denied due to classified information and a need-to-know basis, and trust me, I am all too familiar with this and will continue to push for more. I've gotten the basic rundown of what I am to lead here, though, however. I have PhDs in molecular biology, biophysics, and astrophysics, modern physics as well, but I've also studied acoustics, mechanics, and optics. Based on my broad expertise, I was chosen to help to study the weather changes and strange new species sightings, and the potential they are related. There are also supposed objects we might receive in a few weeks that have properties never before seen, and I have audio and video files and photos from the storms themselves that I have to comb through and take notes on. Of course, I will be very busy, so I will record these notes here on my recorder as they come in, and give you updates on how the team is doing. I still have to find my assistant and some lab workers to help. Hopefully we'll have my assistant in the next week. But I'm very proud to be able to work on this project. Ever since I was little, I dreamed of being in the science field to change the world. What a better way than to work on such a highly classified mission. I'm very grateful to get this opportunity. I know I'm owed it after putting my life on the line during the robot wars, discovering that the AI was evolving to be more human, and were just as susceptible to lazy security protocols as we were. I mean, how many people still don't use a VPN? I've also been the first to warn about how our ancestors didn't do enough to curb climate change, and how the actions they took just held off some of the worst effects until now. I hope my research proves that we need to take drastic action, but I will, as always, keep my opinions out of this project. My theories will only be based on the facts from our research, and I will not push anything if there is no evidence to back it up. I now plan on getting some sleep, and will begin my tasks tomorrow. I'm guessing it'll be a busy day. Over and out. This is Dr. Constance Landry again, and this is day 0007 of Project Peter Pan.
And I'm Captain Hook.
I apologize, but that is my new assistant who is more known for his work than his professionalism.
Sorry, Constance. I'm just so excited to work with the person who changed how we perceive quantum mechanics with the theory on electromagnetism and time travel. What was that again?
I know what you're doing, and it isn't needed, old friend. Everyone knows my theories. That's why I was hired. Now back to this recording. As you have heard, I have now hired my assistant, Dr. Timothy Musgrave. He worked with me during the robot wars and is one of my most trusted sources on thermodynamics and several other physics topics. I trust him with my life. Together we have hired the rest of the lab workers and are excited to announce that we've begun the research on schedule and have already started to compile some notes, which I will share soon.
And I am excited to announce that I am now in first place in our fantasy football league after a big win over Constance.
Tim, don't make me throw you out of this room. Remember, I am your boss right now.
Sorry, Constance. I'm just trying to break the ice. I know the Shadow Brigade plays too. And they're the ones listening, no?
Well, yes. Them. And the president.
Oh! No. I'm sorry for my strange enthusiasm, sir. I will get back to work.
As I was saying, we have been studying the weather patterns back at Mount Rushmore and the strange fogginess up by the faces. From what we can tell, that fog isn't fog at all. It is actually some sort of gas that is escaping the rocks, and the residue makes it appear like the faces are eroding. I know the lunatics want to think that demons are somehow involved. Why they vote in those leaders in that state, I will never know. But the main findings by us are that the constant rain, extreme fluctuations in temperatures, and strange light patterns due to the thick dark clouds are all factors. Surprisingly, the lightning in the area has actually never struck the rock face as far as we know, but most of the forest that surrounds the area seems to be in dire shape. I have never seen this gas effect or a weather pattern that persists for several weeks before, and from what I can tell, the new weather patterns at the Florida Keys and in Nevada are not the same, but I cannot rule out that they aren't related. I'm going to be listening and analyzing the sound next, so stay tuned for that. Over and out. Dr. Constance Landry again, and this is day 0014 of Project Peter Pan. We have some very exciting news that some pieces of the strange ships that allegedly just appeared on the military mission at the Florida Keys have been tagged for delivery. I'm excited to see these pieces because I believe it will actually give credence to my theory on electromagnetism and time travel.
I told you it would be important. You see, Constance? You are as good at this as you are at winning fantasy football titles.
Oh, Tim, for the last time, I am not trading you my top running back for that bum of a backup quarterback. Sorry, everyone. But as I was saying, based on the audio analysis of the weather patterns at Ghost Mountain and Las Vegas, I've learned that there's actually several signals hidden in the sound waves, and it seems that the sound itself is not from the wind, but from hidden electrical and magnetic charges that seem to be all around the areas. Once we get these ship pieces, I can look for myself if there is any evidence of time travel. It could be very important in understanding how the universe works. And of course, it can possibly help explain these events, as it worries me that the weather patterns persist, spread, and only seem to be getting worse. It makes me think that this could actually be an attack of some kind, and not a climate event. And that brings me to the questions you haven't answered. I believe it is a need-to-know thing now. What does the United Nations say about all this? Is there a rogue country doing research that we know about? Is there a rogue group? Perhaps this is another AI incident. I really need more answers to truly understand what we are up against and whether I should further analyze this strange audio to see what the source of this activity is.
Don't forget to ask about that odd rumor of some sort of prophecy.
Tim, I will do nothing of the sort right now. Please, I will speak with you later.
Okay. I'm just saying that it could be related if time travel is involved.
I know, Tim, and I appreciate the help, but we do not have enough information to go around chasing rumors.
Okay, I understand. Talk to you soon.
Sorry about that again. Timothy is very enthusiastic and he can never hold in a thought. That's what makes him so valuable. He is also thinking, which is nice. I do not want to alarm anyone, but I did hear of this rumor and it does interest me if it is true, but I am not sure it is the most pressing need right now. Instead, I want those ship pieces and I want some more information to better serve Project Peter Pan. Talk to you all again soon. Over and out. Dr. Constance Landry on day 0021 of Project Peter Pan. I'm recording this discussion between me and my assistant, Dr. Timothy Musgrave, to better serve your understanding of what we have found out from the pieces of ship debris.
Brace yourself, everyone. These findings are fairly unbelievable.
Enough of that, Tim. Please let me know what you have found out.
Yes. So first things first, we had to get creative because concrete data is pretty tough these days. As you know, Constance, our computers and electromagnetic readers were going haywire days before we even got the pieces of ship. We weren't sure if it was the snowstorm that has been going on for a few days, but as soon as those pieces found themselves in our lab, it was clear that that was the source. Especially since 2 colleagues disappeared and then reappeared a few days later.
But why were these events significant?
Well, because the lab workers didn't remember a thing. Believed they had only lost a few minutes of time and had the same strange effect on our readers and computers. In fact, once we worked a bit of code, we discovered a strange pattern of sound waves emanating from both the pieces of ship and the lab workers. Once we canceled out the sound waves, the computers and readers started to work.
But there was still a problem.
Yes, there was. You see, the readings pointed to neither the ship pieces nor the lab workers actually being there.
Meaning?
Well, they were clearly there as we can see, touch, hear, interact in any way, with the workers and the debris. But the readings told us a different story, that there was no electric charge present. Not a positive one, not a negative one. In theory, both the lab workers and debris should be scattered atoms, but somehow they exist as they do.
Clearly, we believed all of our equipment to be faulty. I decided to do blood tests on the workers and had Timothy look up potential past cases.
You're not going to believe this, but there were past cases of people with these same readings. But they're from 100 years ago, when technology wasn't as good. So a lot of the findings can't be trusted However, there was one tidbit of information that got us both.
There were photographs of the individuals.
You see, the lab workers register like they do because they seem to have passed through some sort of a portal, so to speak. They don't remember the journey there or back, but based on the past case and ours, it seems like touching the debris somehow shot them back into time. They were in the past for 2 years being studied and probed, housed in a secret government agency. From my research, everything else on this agency disappeared from record. Nothing exists.
But that's not all. We canceled out the sound waves and the storms, and guess what? They also don't register as real. Tim, can you explain the shadow effect?
Well, the shadow effect is pretty interesting. The object's shadows are even stranger than the objects themselves because unlike the objects that cast them, the shadows give off readings of actually being there. And what is strange about these shadows is that they are actually giving off separate sound waves. Now, we analyze them every way we know how, and this is different than the other objects. These sound waves mimic human speech, but are on a wavelength we cannot hear with our human ears. However, the lab workers...
Tim, I will take it from here. Thank you. The lab workers have been recorded by the robots whispering something. At first, we thought they were going mad, but we believe the lab workers can hear the sound waves. We suggest a conference call in a few days. We should have answers by then, and I expect answers from you. Over and out. This is Dr. Constance Landry, Chief Scientist for Project Peter Pan, and I am joined by my assistant on the project, Dr. Timothy Musgrave.
Hello, everyone. Anyone else hear what's going on with the football season? Canceled due to the spreading of storms. I don't think we will be able to crown our fantasy champs this year. This is Wrinkling George Wilkins III of the Shadow Brigade. I hear you, Timothy. Me and my colleagues really wanted to win that Green Ball trophy this year with all the craziness. That's what we call our championship trophy, of course. Took our minds off of reality for a little bit to keep us sane, you know? Green Ball, huh?
This is General Thomas Mulberry II, and I command you both to shut up about fantasy football. We have more pressing matters at hand, like whether I should go to DEFCON 2.
General, I don't think your nukes will solve this problem any more than it did with the robot wars. Where is the president?
The president could not be here due to other pressing matters. Did you hear that the cities along Lake Michigan are now on fire, but no buildings are actually burning down? And that dust storm is so bad in Las Vegas that everyone is now being evacuated? It's clear that this is an attack, and if it wasn't for you bleeding heart science nerds, I could have blown those robots to smithereens well before you gave them that virus.
General, with all due respect, you need to understand that as a Shadow Brigade member who actually administered that virus and was in on the meetings with Dr. Landry and Dr. Musgrave, that you should stick to whether your army is fit enough. Atomic energy would have only strengthened those robots' energy systems, while also wiping out innocent human lives. They were begging that we do that. Luckily, smarter minds prevailed.
Okay, I think we've had enough bickering for once. If this is all there will be, it will have to do. And General, please relay what I'm about to say to the President as soon as possible.
Do not worry about my job, Doctor. I have my orders, and I have an oath to uphold. Now please tell me what the hell is going on?
You already have my updates from before, and it is worse than we all thought. And before I actually continue, I know the truth already, and I need you to admit it, General. These shadows are living specimens, aren't they?
Wait, did you say living? Living how?
I mean living as an intelligent, evolving being. But they are not living like you or I, Franklin. You see, we decided to continue the time travel tests. Had 2 willing volunteers that would put recording equipment and embed it into their clothes, and another 2 willing volunteers allowed us to put a chip in their hand. They touched the debris and vanished, only to reappear a few hours ago. And that's why I called this emergency meeting.
I thought I made it clear that we should wait on those tests for safety concerns. Doctor, you always seem to make me question why they brought you in.
General, these tests were needed to understand what I know now. Trust me, we needed to know this.
What did you find? And don't tell me. It's related to that prophecy, isn't it?
And there it is. You see, General, once the lab workers returned, I too deemed it wasn't safe for time travel, not because of the journey itself, but because of what was happening to the objects and the people. Blood tests confirmed an unknown property. That property matched up with the shadows and the storms. It was like they were infected somehow.
Infected?
Yes. The reason they didn't read on our instruments is because on a molecular level, they had changed into something our minds cannot comprehend.
We deciphered what the lab workers were whispering. They are saying, "Bring me the green bowl. Bring me the relic." That's when I decided to do some digging. I made some calls to friends. I came across some random files, not going to say how, and voila, the prophecy.
That also gave me a theory as to what the shadows are. And you're not going to like it, because it's difficult to comprehend as well.
Doctor, that prophecy you all speak of is something we've known but ignored because it sounded just a little insane. But recently, we've been looking back at it. Are you telling me that there's some truth in it?
Tim, can you take this one?
Franklin, what I found was a trail of files that goes back centuries. I'm sending you these files now so that you have a better understanding. As you can see, these shadows seem to be manipulating time. The Great Pyramid was built, but no one remembers how or why. We now have our theories, but what I can tell, 4 of the builders were our lab workers. Perhaps that's where that ancient alien nonsense comes from. I'm not understanding any of this.
That's why I get paid the big bucks, Franklin. The lab workers vanished again today, and that's when we found out the information on the pyramid. It seems that the pyramid's properties are the same as all of the other objects I speak of. They don't exist, and yet they do. But crazier yet is that there seems to be 14 spots across the world with elevated electromagnetic readings. Those are the spots with the worst storms. I know the area around the Great Pyramid is also somehow lost right now. No one can find it on satellite images. It's just one big dark spot. General, I need to know that we are evacuating all of the places with storms right now. We have family.
Doctor, what you speak of was known already. Need to know bases, of course.
What? What's the matter with you? You could have cost lives and valuable time.
Doctor, we've been preparing underground cities in undisclosed locations for weeks now. Evacuations have started already. Yours will be coming soon. I just needed to know what you knew. And you have helped us immensely. Now you know why we call it Project Peter Pan. Living shadows? Haven't you ever heard of that? What I need from you guys now is to keep working to find out if these so-called shadow beings have any weaknesses. That was the President's plan all along.
Don't you get it, General? These are not shadow beings. The shadows are living like a hive mind. If we probe one piece, all respond. The infection means that any of us could become infected if we are exposed too long. And the reason as to why we just learned of our lab workers being at the Great Pyramid is because the shadows also show interdimensional properties.
What does that mean? What the doctor means is that because the shadows seem to infect while time traveling, the shadows also seem to be rewriting time. We cannot perceive it, but essentially anything we know could be due to this activity, including that prophecy.
Are you saying that this prophecy could be a trap?
We don't know. But what we do know is that while we cannot seem to truly understand what we are fighting, there is something we might have for protection against infection. As we said before, the shadows register as negative charges. If we could find something with a positive enough charge, we can be safe because it should interact with the negative charge and neutralize it. From what we know, there seems to be readings at all those 14 spots with high electromagnetic readings like I talked about before. I've heard stories of a new element being found at one of those spots. Is this true, General?
Element, huh? You really are too smart for your own good. Yes, I will look into it for you and get you these files. Give me a little more time. I must now debrief the president. Over and out.
Crazy, huh? Who would have thought that we would need to save the world again? Thanks for these files, Timothy. I must go now to talk with my fellow members. We have to hash out a plan to help you guys. Call back soon. Over and out. Constance, we should get to work on this as soon as possible.
Tim, please go call your wife. Let me handle this. I'll let you know when I need you.
Okay, Constance. Get some rest, please. You'll need it.
Not sure how I can sleep now. Over and out. Dr. Constance Landry. Day 0030 of Project Peter Pan. I'm now locked in my room. Haven't slept in 72 hours. Fear that I don't have enough time. Timothy, well, Timothy's been infected. He killed several. It's just the blackness of his eyes. I don't know what I understand anymore. Maybe I'm losing my sanity finally after all these years. No one's left. Just me and Timothy. Well, it used to be Timothy. Communications have been cut. All I have are these recordings that I hope to find a way to send. I fear that I might have to try to fight my way to the debris. I have a Wi-Fi chip. I can send the files. Possibly get help. If I succeed, but don't make it, please don't let my research go to waste. Don't let Timothy's life go to waste. He sacrificed himself for the good of us all. And now, I fear it is my time to join him. Over and out.
Please follow the SunDried Tomatoes YouTube channel and watch content including original shows like Legends of the Diamond, random reactions, and Brewing the Facts, the SunDried Tomatoes podcast in video form, and other sports, brewing, or entertainment-related videos. You can like the Facebook page and follow me on Instagram at eclectic_yotso for news updates and just to get to know me better.